The lesson.
Oh yeah.
Now, 2019, you announced the Thanks for the Memories final national tour. And obviously, with a title like that, you know, we've all assumed this is it. He's retiring. Hence the title, Thanks for the Memories. Now, when you did that tour, did you give it that name because you planned for that to be the end? Or was it a bit of a, we're just going to call it this and then I'm going to have a comeback and, you know, people will be like, oh, what the fuck? We thought he was retired. Like, what was the reasoning behind that title of that tour?
The reasoning was because I was pretty much like, I was pretty fucking done with rap. I hadn't rapped for I hadn't written anything for about 2.5 years. And my mental, like just my brain in general was very like all over the place because there was like a lot of stuff that was going on in like my personal life and also to do with like, just to do with like, you know, like all the other stuff that we sort of had talked about. And so like, I sort of felt like that there was like a sort of sense that like people were just like not, I don't know, like it was very hard to fathom that like I could get anywhere by doing the things that I was doing. And it sort of like affected me. And I mean, like even at the last Melbourne show when we did it, like I fully broke down to like the crowd and like was fucking crying and like literally I vented for like 35 minutes like on stage, just like fully like letting everything that like I thought out about stuff and like, you know, just like people's like comments and like the way that like shit makes you feel and stuff. And like the way that I talk to people, I guess, is through my music, and I guess maybe that's why people feel like that they know me a lot more because that's where I vent. That's where like my stuff comes out. I don't go and speak to people about it because I feel like they might know about it, but they haven't been through exactly the things I've been through, so I can't understand in my brain how they would understand, and so it just doesn't work for me. So when that all happened, I had like a fucking like sensation of just like I've let literally like to like 400 people that are in the crowd, I've let out all this shit and and I feel like great like now. Like I came off stage and I was like I don't even feel bad anymore. Like I feel really, really good. Like I don't know what's going on. And so it wasn't ever planned that I would start like doing rapping or anything again. It was just that I just needed a break really, and they like at the time my record label, which was Cooking Vinyl, were like, you should just say that you're on a hiatus, because I was like ready to just say like I'm done, like it's out, like can't be fucked, and like it will hurt you more if you say that you did quit, because people won't understand it. Where if you say that you're on a hiatus, you have the option of coming back, and I really do appreciate them for telling me that as well, because I mean I could have made the wrong decision, but it's all there for a purpose. And I mean, yeah, it was really weird because I think it was about like 6 months after that, I watched like I was at home one night and I came home from like it was a really fucking shit night, I remember, and I was sitting down watching the TV and I literally turned it on and it was about like some dude talking about failure, and it was like about that when you stop, that's basically when you failed. Like if you continue going and you continue seeing something out, you're not ever going to fail because you never knew where it was going to go, and the way that you do fail is if you stop doing it. And that really like when I like listened to that, I was like, man, like this is so fucking true. and I'm just like, and that really like messed me up. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, and I'd been writing as well. And like recently, like while that was happening, and I mean, me and Tasker, like we'd been doing like our new shit, which is like all Rest for the Wicked stuff. And I was like, man, I came in one day because Tasker was staying down. He was coming down the next week in Melbourne. This was like just before COVID lockdowns happened. And I was like, I just want to make an Ivan Ooze EP. Do you reckon we can do that in a week? And he's like, yeah, let's fucking do it, man. And Tasker's always down for that shit. So we literally smashed out 5 songs in 5 days, and they were great songs. And they're like the songs that'll be coming out towards the end of the year, but they were made like two years ago. So like, I've just been at the moment working on different stuff and yeah, doing that. But it was never intended that I was gonna come back and do it. It was just like when I feel like I should come back, and when the feeling's there, then maybe that's when I should do that. And then I guess it is now, and what happened with like the recent videos and stuff. So yeah.
So then, therefore, because you mentioned doing the project with Tasker. Now, Tasker, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a producer that recently did Husky's album.
Yes, he did.
So, the Thanks for the Memories tour was 2019. But then, following year 2020, that's when you've linked in with Tasker. You guys have started recording the Rest for the Wicked EP. And around that time in that year, you've also signed to EMI Music Australia?
Yeah, that's correct, for the Rest for the Wicked stuff, yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about how that signing happened?
So, Tasker was working with a man named Scott Horscroft, he's up in the Grove, and he owns the Grove up in Gosford. He's a fantastic producer and like engineer, and he's also an A&R at EMI, and so he was like, do you want to, like, he apparently Tasker told me that they were going through some of like the projects that Tasker had been doing, and the one that I had done, which was like this sort of other stuff that I wanted to work on with Task, resonated like to him, and he was just like, this is sick. And so I just got a call from my manager one day. No, I got a call from Tasker before that happened saying, do you want to make this a duo? And I was like, well, yeah, I've never been in a band before. That'd be awesome. Like, definitely. And so we made it into a duo, and we did a couple more songs. Then that happened. And then, so over COVID, I got a contract sent to me, and because of the last contract that I was in, I was sort of like, a bit hesitant, because it sort of just didn't like pan out the way that I thought it might. And then my manager went through it, and he's just like, you should really read this because it's like a really good contract. And I was like, all right. And I read it, and I'm like, I don't understand it, like, because it's all in like, you know, like lawyer mumbo jumbo. And he was like, oh, don't worry, we'll get like the layman's terms like version of it. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we got it, and I was like, oh wow, this is. And then I called him, and I was like, this is actually a big deal. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, like it is. It's like a fucking like, you should do this. And I was like, okay. And so I went with that, and then we signed over COVID. So like it felt very surreal, because like, you know, like if you like do like a signing or whatever, like you sort of meet everyone and do all that, but you couldn't do any of that while that was happening. So we ended up like going out and having like lunch, like I think it was about a year later after and like we physically signed it. So like we did two. So we did like the actual one, and then we're like, we'll do the physical signing of it, and then did all that, and we went out and had some like delicious food, and yeah, it was fun. It was sick. And then yeah, now we're just full in like work mode at the moment for Rest of the Wicked stuff as well. So it's pretty crazy.
So that Rest for the Wicked EP, you've started recording that in 2020. You've signed to EMI. You haven't put it out yet, but when you do put it out, it's going out under EMI, or?
No, so the EP that we did was a separate one. The Ivan Ooze one that we did in a week, that was just like my own stuff. So it was like we'd just been doing like a series of songs, like just for Rest for the Wicked stuff, like as in for our duo, and then yeah, we sort of just made a. We made it more a what do you call it, like a that was what that was going to be, and then like the Ivan Ooze one will come out, and we didn't know when we were going to release it. Like it was just like what would be the right time, and then like when COVID and everything happened, I was just like, well, it's probably not the right time to put it out now. Like there'd be no point. They like can't tour, can't push it, so we just left it. And I mean, like I've still got it now. Like I've only put out one of the songs from it. We've got another song, and like it's still subject to change, because like a lot of the songs that I was doing are sort of like Rest for the Wicked-y songs, which are like a lot more like melodic jams, but then they also had rap in them. So like, and I don't know if like right now the audience that is viewing my stuff just wants like, they just want rap. So I'm just like, all right, I've got to think about this before I do that. And yeah, so that's why I'm like in two places at the moment, because I'm like, I've got this EP that I can put out, but I also want to make new stuff, and I know I'm capable of making new stuff while I'm here doing lots of things. So yeah, I'm just in a world right now.
So the Ivan Ooze EP, you still haven't put that out. You've just put out the one track.
Yeah.
But the Rest for the Wicked EP, you guys already put that out, or you haven't put that out either?
No, so that one hasn't come out either. So it's coming out the end of this month with a single, and yeah, I don't think it's been announced yet. So yeah, it's pretty new, but yeah, it would be mad. Like we've just been working on it for literally like 3 years basically, but it's so nuts because in that time we've got together and done everything. We've got like me and Task, like for Rest for the Wicked, have got a backlog of like 30 or 40 songs. So like, I mean, they're all like finished as well. They just need like a proper mix and a master. So I mean, like with Task, like me and him in the studio work really well together. And even with hip hop stuff, like we pump out like a song, and even when I'm in a session, like I don't want to leave unless I have a full song. Like there's no point in coming home with half a verse and a hook because you'll never finish the second verse. So yeah, we've just been pumping stuff, but it's been great.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.